Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel for the 4th anniversary of this channel. Yay! I figured it would be fitting for this occasion to make another part of drawing your Fakemon ideas. Let's start with this comment by Ashbach, who wants a ground electric type solar panel lizard. Let's start. So I once wanted to make a solar panel sheep Fakemon, but just couldn't figure out a way to make it work, so I'm glad I can try another solar panel Fakemon and actually make it work this time. Hopefully. We'll see. I threw in a few more electricity, energy and cable themed elements. I hope that's okay. Solar power and solar panels are gonna be the main theme, but I wanted to include a second related theme. Energy storage, aka power banks. They store electricity and you can charge your phone with it or like other stuff. There are also power banks with little solar panels on top, so you can charge them, for example, when you're outside camping or like don't have like electricity out of, I don't know what these things are called, but you know what I'm talking about. Older power banks were just like these bricks, like very large and very heavy, but like same as phones, they got slimmer and smaller over the years. This stage is based on the large power banks. Bringing in the bearded dragon was a little tricky because I wasn't sure if I wanted to just make symbols that look like the horns and spikes of the lizard or actually give it spikes. It was a lot of shifting around the patterns to not make the design overly cluttered. At first the horns were just regular horns, but in the end I added these squares on top to resemble a charger head. For the legs I went with something more goofy, these flat cable noodle legs with small solar panels on top of the feet. Color wise I went with mostly grey cause, well, power banks are usually grey. Then red, yellow and green because these colors are associated with stages of energy. Red being no energy, yellow being low on energy and green being full of energy. Also, since solar panels are most of the time this dark blue, I made the 6 panels on the side dark blue as well. And the light blue legs that come out of these fields are lighter in color, as they are supposed to represent a lower amount of energy flowing out of this giant energy source. Here it is, the ground and electric type Repcap. The name is a fusion of reptilian and cable, while also almost sounding like something a frog would say. And the first stage also looks like a frog, so yeah. Now to the second stage, which is probably a bit closer to what Ash had imagined. I knew what it was supposed to look like pretty clear from the beginning, but it took some attempts to actually draw it. I took the name Bearded Dragon literally, and made it a dragon. Some sort of. Dragon nerds will probably say that it's not a real dragon, but I don't care. The body is now flat and it has giant wings that have the patterns of solar panels on them more obviously, and its hands are covered in them too. It's futuristic, slick and chic, so it lost most of the spikes and horns since it doesn't need them anymore, for style reasons. Even though it looks futuristic and would probably fit most in a huge modern city, its habitat is actually the Moonlight Desert. You know, deserts, a lot of open space, a lot of sun, so with all the open space it can absorb the sunlight the best, and in a crowded city that's probably not as possible as there. It is very popular among scientists and part of a program to store clean energy. There it is, the ground electric type Energon. The name is a fusion of energy and dragon. I know it looks pretty different from the first stage. Ash, I hope you still like the line in total. The second Fakemon is by Gorka Diaz Bus, who wants a flamingo cupcake. One thing I have to say is that for this and the next Fakemon I could only figure out the first stage. I will try to draw the second stages at a later point when I have more creative energy. Anyways, the idea of a flamingo cupcake is super cute, and the pink coloration of a flamingo is really fitting for a fairy type cupcake. Apple slices seemed like the perfect way to add a fruit element and give this Fakemon small wings on its sides. I tried to make this whole Fakemon round and fluffy and, adorable. The eyes are heart-shaped cause cute. All the colors are pastel besides the red for some contrast and values. I have a picture in my mind how the evolution could look like, but I was lacking the creative energy for actually drawing it for this video. Here it is, the first stage, Flapper Cup, a pure fairy type. Flappercup is a fusion of cupcake and flop flop, the sound wings make. Thank you for this concept, I hope it turned out somewhat how you imagined it. Again, thank you. The last Fakemon for this video is by the hero Hartmut, who wrote this super elaborate concept about a bird Fakemon. The first stage is basically a cannonball and they evolve from an aircraft carrier or pirate ship. The first stage was relatively easy, but I couldn't figure out the final stage yet. For Canet, the first stage, I basically followed the instructions step by step, however I also took some small liberties. I hope that was okay. The wings with some black patterns are supposed to look like speed lines. So, like it's diving into water and its wings, you know, have speed lines like in mangas or animation. Probably too, yeah. I gave it a yellow mask-like patterns around the eyes, or like around the whole head, and a skull-like pattern around the eye. When looking up cannonballs, I found some that had engravings in them which inspired the pattern. It is also supposed to look like an eye patch, cause, you know, pirate theme. Here it is, the flying and water type Canet. The name's a fusion of Cadet and Cannonball, I believe? No, Cannon and Canet. Yeah, that's what it was. I think it turned out pretty cute. Thanks Hero for this concept. I'll try to figure out the final form. If you have any tips, please just let me know in the comments. So these are the 4 Fakemon for this special occasion. If you have ideas for more Fakemon, please just let me know in the comments. I would be especially grateful for Desert, Jungle, Mountain or Savannah Fakemon. Thank you all for your interest in this channel and your support over the last 4 years. It's almost half a decade, which is a little crazy. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the comments.